Day 61. Before falling asleep, I was thinking about the course of lectures, English from scratch. Based on the techniques which I invented and developed in the last year, this course might help me attract attention to English-speaking community of Kaluga. I'm going to give these lectures once a week at Innovational Cultural Center, record them and then publish on YouTube. I think I need to wait for 40 days until I shift to Russian, and then make these lectures the task number 1 for the next 100 days. The idea of shifting from one language to another and creating competition between two forms of mind control, two sub-personalities, so to speak, is wonderful. It's been more than 3,000 days since I began to write these daily notes and established my personal system of counting time. Now it's 12,864th day of my life. The day when I started using the system was 9,605. It was February 19 of 2012, 151 years after abolishing slavery in Russia. So, even though I have been writing these numbers at the top of every page for almost 9 years, I still framed all events and memories of my life using the historical time. Whenever I think about something that happened in 2012, 2013, 2014, etc., I have no idea of what was then the exact day or period on my personal scale. Well, I remember day 10,000th. It was March of 2013. That's all. In my memory, it is very clear, and I may reconstruct the past 9 years month after month without using my journals. But again, it's gonna be February 2012, March 2012, April 2012, etc. Now, however, it's a completely different view. I guess it started from 12,518. Before, I had been thinking in English for about 100 days. Then, till 12,599, I was thinking in Russian. From 12,604 to 12,704, I was thinking in English. From 12,705 to 12,799 in Russian. And from 12,800 up till now, I'm thinking in English. So, today I probably will talk about this system of personal personal system of counting time. When first I came up with this idea of recording days of my life instead of just counting out days, 1st February, 2nd February, 3rd February, etc. Since I was writing every day, it was quite interesting at that moment. I remember the period, I was thinking, okay, it's like, what's the day of my life? I calculated, I found out that it was 9,605. And I decided, okay, since now I'm gonna focus on these numbers, and every day I'll see what is the number, and I'll put a date, like February, March, whatever. And also I'll add this number. And I was calculating it for 8 years. Yeah, for 8 years, even more than 8 years, till I stopped using like days of calendar. At the beginning, or even at the spring of 2018, I shifted to these numbers, and I stopped framing my memories into historical time. So I started using only these numbers, and only after a year and a half, basically 400 days, no, not a year and a half, like just 1 year, 1 year ago, a little bit more, not 1 year, it was November 2019. I came up with this idea like changing periods. So 100 days I was thinking in English, then 100 days I was thinking in Russian, and I shifted like every 100 days I shifted from one language to another, and it helped me to frame. It's like it's so clear now. I may reestablish all these 100 days, but another idea of like it was kind of intuitive. I didn't decide that I'm going to do that and then I started doing that. No, first I was doing that and then wow, that's clever. It's clever to change systems, like thinking systems, like to from English to Russian and back every 100 days and see which of them will, develop better in these 100 days. I'm kind of obsessed with personal development, with writing and thinking, all this stuff, and it's interesting to see certain cycles and periods in my life. Since I've been writing for more than 10 years, I see there's ups and downs, and for me it's very interesting to see how all this works. And I'm trying to learn how to make more ups and less downs. But yeah, now it's not the point. Now I want to talk about these changes every 100 days. It's why I think it's very exciting and productive in some sense. When I think in Russian or in English, I tend to, when I think in English, I tend to judge myself. If I record the video now and if I can't express a thought, if I can't say what I wanted to say, if I see that there are lots of mistakes, that I can focus on the idea, that I get aside quite often, I immediately judge myself. And after that, if I record the video, I'll probably not upload it on YouTube. I'll just delete it and say it's nonsense. It doesn't work. Let's start a new one. And it bothers me. And if I use this system, so I just remove all these judgments and like this mindset out of the process. So again, I'm thinking in English, and whatever I think, whatever I write, I'm not gonna judge it now. I'm gonna judge it later when I shift to another language. And the same with my native language. So whenever I think in Russian, I'm not gonna judge it immediately. So first I'm gonna do that. I'm studying myself. So I'm studying what I'm doing, why I'm doing that. I study like two forms of life, like life which I live according to my senses, my sensual experience. So whatever I see, whatever I touch, hear, smell, eat, experience, it's one life. And another life is kind of psychological life. My writings, my thoughts, my ideas, all the information which I get from the internet, from books, all these processes. So it's kind of two different forms of life. And I study both of them. And mostly I study the latter because to study the experience, it doesn't require too much attention. It's kind of boring. So you can't just, even though you may study a foreign language by just writing your experience and learning yourself, what you're doing, what you're seeing, but it's like on a higher level, it's kind of boring. But studying your mental processes, studying your psychology and thoughts and ideas, it's way more fascinating. And so I'm just studying both, but to divide, like to get real studying, I need to be able to look at it from like on my experience, on my psychological and physiological experience. I need to be able to look at it from like kind of different views. So just to get out of my filter bubble and be able to really understand what's going on from a different perspective. I may believe in something. I may believe, for example, that I am a smart person. And I know that if I actually have this belief and I start searching information to confirm this belief, I'll probably may delude myself that I'm a smart person, just simply uh, paying attention to everything that confirms this belief and ignoring everything else. But if I use two languages, and if I may create an opposite view and develop it. So, for example, again, I may think I am a smart person, and then I give myself a task to find evidence which contradicts this belief and use different language. For example, English. I may say, okay, now, even though I may believe that I'm a smart person, I'll find all evidence that I'm an idiot, and I'll pay attention to information which confirms this belief, and I'm going to ignore everything else. Well, and it's kind of it's a kind of fascinating experience. You may convince yourself that you're an idiot very fast. So it's if you establish this belief from above, if you say, okay, this is truth, and for the next, like, I'm going to use my language and my thinking and all my experience just to confirm this truth. If you do that, like 50 days, you'll believe that you're an absolute idiot, and it works. It works almost every time. So it's like our minds, our belief systems, it's so tricky. And whatever we believe, it may be 100% otherwise, and it depends. It's like, that's why I guess this idea of belief and faith, it's like, what if you have a belief, no matter what kind of evidence you will get, you'll believe in your so your belief is going to be stronger than any evidence. And working on your beliefs, it's like using two languages and trying to develop kind of opposite views. It's extremely powerful. So again, I'm not saying that I'm using it all the time, but quite often, for example, I was kind of misanthrope. Like I was socially, what's it called, antisocial for 5 years. So since I started studying myself, since I started writing these journals, till I shifted to English, I basically didn't communicate with people at all. So I tried to avoid all possible interactions, and basically I just was sitting in my apartment, reading books, writing my daily journal, and I was like kind of, I guess I'm an introvert, so I basically like to, be alone, think, do things alone. But then when I started studying English, I decided to create an opposite, well, we might call it a personality. So I decided, okay, let's assume that I am extrovert and that I like social interaction, that I like to be around people, talk to them, socialize, whatever. And I created like this new type of personality almost from scratch. So before, it was annoying and silly. And if you read my Russian journals, which I was writing daily from 2012 till 2017 when I shifted to English, often I emphasize that I hate to be around people, that I don't like to communicate, that I need to study philosophy, and everything else is just waste of time. All sorts of communications are a waste of time. And then when I started applying English, I created a new personality, and now I created a speaking club. Now every week I hang out with like lots of people who are speaking English, not just once a week, few times a week. I'm doing English podcast. Now I'm gonna give these lectures. Yeah, and it's so interesting. Again, and shifting from 100 days on one language, another 100 days another, it also helps to create a strong memory, like timeline. So when we think in terms of years and historical time, it's like every year it's kind of new year. So you live like 365 days, and next year it seems like you start from the beginning, and then you start from the beginning again, and kind of meaningless. But when you have your personal time scale, when you think, okay, now it's like 12,864th day of my life, for the next 40 days I'm gonna work on certain tasks. I'm gonna continue like developing my 100-day commitment, talk to the camera every day, work on my club, work on English podcast, work on writing certain articles, like developing my ideas. And then, since like 12,800, I'm going to shift to Russian and work on different sets of tasks. Yeah, they all are kind of, focused on one theme. So it's like speaking club, self-development, like philosophy, whatever. But there's a certain, like, it's all goes further and further. It's not just, okay, this is the end of the year and this is a new year. No, it's like, then it's going to be like, now it's like these 100 days. Next 100 days, I'm going to focus on these tasks. After that, there's another 100 days, I'm going to focus on these tasks. And you always think further. And it helps you to think like not in days and weeks and months and years. It helps you to think in like 1,000 days. For example, I remember clearly before I got to these 12,000 days. So it was the first time when I stopped using historical time in my journals. So I decided, okay, now it was 11,800 something or 900 something. I don't remember exactly the day, but I remember it was the period of time. It was spring. It was the beginning of spring of 2018, or the end of the end of winter. The idea was, okay, now I'm approaching a new 1,000 days. So now it's like in 100 days, I'm going to start a new period. It's going to be 12,000 till 13,000. And I was thinking, wow, what if I just focus on one task and accomplish like a big task during 1,000 days? What if I kind of wrap my head around like one idea and work on this idea? And the idea of like for these 12,000 days, it was actually English. It was like developing my English to the level where it's going to be like mind blowing. And yeah, I've done it already. So, and then I was thinking, what if I just use next 1,000 days working on a new language? I may learn like Chinese, German, Latin, Greek, like all these languages I wanted to learn when I made up this, my personal system of studying, thinking in a language, not just communicating and learning through reading and watching, by thinking. So, and man, I don't have time already. It goes so fast. Okay, I need to finish. I'll continue tomorrow. See you next time. Bye bye.